And welcome back to the European LCS. Before we jump into our next game of the day, I wanted to take some time and celebrate the #1 team here in the European LCS. It'll be a surprise to nobody. It's Vitality. Take a quick look at the standings and you'll see that they've got themselves that 7-win, 2-loss record. They're #1 on the table ahead of G2 Esports and Fnatic. Because they're uncontested in that win-loss column, they're currently the best team. At the beginning of the year, we here on the broadcast team looked at all the teams, all the players, and we said that Vitality could be the most exciting set of rookies to have graced our stage since Misfits. It's important here in Europe because of how well these young upstarts like Mini Trupax, like Jack Troll, how they can shine when they follow players like Gilius and Cabochard. And who can forget the man in the middle lane, the Italian stallion himself, Jizuke. Look, this kid has had some great performances all split long. Nobody can ignore the Italian stallion. This 1v2 on Rise from earlier in the split, he's been wrecking faces, taking names, and Jizuke almost single-handedly keeping alive that meme of EU mids man. Now, while he isn't quite as clean as Perks yet, I expect him to grow. I expect Jizuke to continue challenging those legacy mid laners here in Europe. Now let's look at the bigger picture. Let's look at the whole team, because Jizuke, as well as the entirety of Vitality, are a force to be reckoned with. They have the second highest average gold lead at 15 minutes across the league. First at 20 with plus 2,000 gold. And if you look at the very last stat, the major lead, what that means is how much of their time do they spend with 51.5% or more of the total gold in the game, and it's 43%. Of course, a team that's 7-2 will have that sort of record. One worry for me, though, is that heavy-handed defeat to G2 Esports yesterday. This young roster, they never got rolling, they never got off the pace, they didn't get a single tower, they didn't get a single kill. That was a bit of a surprise to me. The only other game that Vitality has lost was to Misfits. Now, to be fair, they threw that game. That was their mistake, and Vitality proved to me that they could rebound. They lost to Misfits, they came back, they won 4 games in a row, and it was only yesterday against G2 where I really had some alarm bells going off. Now, this is a rookie squad, it's a young team. There's one thing that is clear. This is a team that is growing. They're still #1 in the league, and to me, they're one of the dark horse contenders for the title of EU LCS Spring Split. Before they can win that title, before they can be crowned the definitive best team, they have to overcome themselves, their own weaknesses, and then turn their attention to the rest of the league. Now, today, I think they're going to start that winning streak again. I think they're going to smash H2K, Shocks, and Amazing, but I'm excited to see what Vitality do to fix the problems and make sure they don't get smashed like they did against G2.
Well, exactly. That was a very tough loss versus G2, and we compared it to what they did after they lost to Misfits. Well, they came back swinging, but this is kind of a different loss. This is a loss to a G2 that is a reigning champion, that is on a roll, and it wasn't pretty. How much do you think it's going to influence Vitality?
It's going to influence them a lot, I think, especially because it's between the game days. It's a whole different story. They don't have that week to recover. And because G2 is an up-and-coming, like, obviously, team again, because they're on the rise, they're actually showing off what a champion is capable of doing. And I think this is something that Vitality still has yet to show.
Yeah, that's true. They have to show if they are worthy of being the champion. And before yesterday, few would have given H2K much of a chance in this matchup at all. But with their new jungler, Shook, they picked up the second win of the split yesterday against Rocket. And it's not that it went off to a flying start straight from the beginning of the game. It was in the mid-game that combo of Selfie and Shook really took over.
Yeah, it's just the trust that they have in Shook. Shook is someone that has always been like a proactive kind of player, that always is looking to start fights, looking to start gangs, and whatever it is. So for him to come in, actually have the whole team rally behind him, and especially Selfie with his Orianna rallying behind him, is a great start for them. And it's really something that I was hoping to see out of them, because so far they've been rolling over and dying every single game. And now they're actually trying to make plays and trying to recover from losses and trying to recover from deficits.
Yeah, and it was versus Rocket, that first win on the board. Now versus Vitality. Do you think they have a big chance, or how many % chance do they have of beating Vitality?
I think actually a 50% chance.
Whoa.
I think this sounds really hopeful, but I do think after yesterday and after their showing, I think they're really motivated. The players, especially Sheriff and the bottom lane, has kind of like played well, but they didn't really get the spotlight yet, is going to really rally behind the troops now. And I think this is something I, as I said, hope to see out of them. And Shook and Selfie together, they play a really similar style to Jizuke and Gilius. And I think this mid lane control into side lane control is something that is going to contest and basically like decide the game.
Well, and maybe, just maybe, Vitality is still tilted from yesterday. Let's hope we get a competitive match and see if H2K can continue the success from yesterday as we send it over to Medic in the Fish Show for picks and bans.
Thank you, Shux. I am once again Medic. He is once again the most gorgeous Deficio.
Well, you weren't Medic last time.
No, I was Deficio.
Yeah.
And you were Deficio. And we were Deficios together.
It was amazing.
Well, let's take a look at the lineup. Starting on the blue side, it's Vitality, 7-2, the best team in the league statistically. Vitality have had an incredible first half of the split.
And yesterday, of course, super rough game. Got completely dismantled by G2 Esports. One of the big problems was they never got H2K rolling in the mid lane. One of the first games where that actually happened. He died for that first blood. Him and Gilius together, it needs to work. Because now, against Shook and Selfie on the H2K side, that's going to be really interesting to follow because those two guys were the best performing members for H2K specifically when they picked up that second win. And I can't wait for this jungle mid matchup. Hopefully we get the same kind of action as the last game because I want to see these players really go at it. Gillis is already taunting Shook a little bit here in the pre-game chat saying like, look me in the eyes. And then he's just looking across the stage trying to intimidate him.
He then said, come out for drinks tonight.
He then said that after.
But then Shook said, I will if I win, so I'll be there.
All right, let's see if Shook gets to go out with Gilius tonight or not. H2K, ready to prove everyone wrong, because I believe every single analyst predicted Vitality to win this game. Except for now Amazing saying it's a 50-50.
That seems high to me.
Well, he's clearly expecting Vitality to be pretty hurt after yesterday's loss. Let's see in the pick-and-ban phase. H2K did play red side yesterday, and a big thing for them was they also got Zyra Rakan. And I really like how Promiscu played that Rakan in team fights. Let's see if Vitality will do the same. And wow, a Zac ban.
Yep. Not really too surprising after Shook had such a good Zac game yesterday.
And also removed the Zyra. So basically what Vitality have done now is that they looked at their win yesterday and said, okay, ignore everything else we have seen the last like 5 weeks.
5 bans, 5 champions you played.
Yeah,
let's just
there we
ban them
go.
all.
We saw you played Zac, that went really well. We saw the Zyra Rakan, that also worked really well. Banned both, so that's now removed. H2K will have to find something new. Orianna is still there for them if they want to play it. Also, thank you, Veteran, for banning the Tom Kench. They want to make sure they can play some pick comps against Team Vitality. And Jack Troll, of course, has played a lot of Tom Kench in the past.
This is the first time we've seen Vitality on the blue side this split as well. They always used to choose the red side if they had the option, and enemy teams would choose the blue side against them. There's the Thresh ban as well against Promiscu. H2K looking for their final ban.
Interesting, banning that one away. I don't really feel like Promiscu has been a giant threat on that champion because he hasn't really
hasn't played it yet
towards it. So yeah, that's why it's kind of interesting ban-wise, unless they have something specific in mind in the first phase that could get countered by it. Kalista is already banned, so it's not even like Kalista Thresh is a combo they're removing. GP is open, Ryze is open, Sejuani is open. There's a lot of the standard power picks, and a lot of teams want to play red side now because there are no picks left in the meta that you have to lock in every single time no matter what. You can actually trade quite a lot. Now, SmittyJ can get GP if he wants to because they give over Ryze to take GP for themselves, and Tristana, as we talked about last game, best AD carry.
Yeah, grab the Tristana, grab the GP if you want it. You banned out the Camille as well, so relatively okay matchups for the GP, can just scale up. Could go for the Jarvan as well for Shook, something he used to play a lot.
Yes, this is a classic for Shook because it allows him, one, to be active in the early game, but more importantly, it allows him to be the guy who engages team fights. And that's what he changed for H2K yesterday. They needed someone who could just say, you know what, guys, we're fighting now. I'm going in, follow me. And Selfie did follow Shook whenever they started the fight with the Orianna Zac. They can do Orianna Jarvan. That can work for them.
Yeah.
If they want to go for the same kind of draft where it's about force a team fight into great follow-up, which was so successful for H2K yesterday.
Well, there is the gangplank that we talked about as well. Cabochard's going to take that up towards the top lane. It is his most played champion this split.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about any of these hops.
Well, that's the trade-off, right? Sejuani is still there for Gilius, which is what he normally picks. Maybe he's mad, and now he's tired of playing boring tanks, and he wants to be able to carry. And that's why we get Jack's jungle. I like it. Coming in from Gilius. He wants to be able to take the duel against Jarvan. Ooh.
Galio for Selfie in the mid lane here.
Same kind of thing with the follow-up on Shook's engage. Jarvan goes in, Galio ults on top of him. Great combo for H2K. And once again, it comes down to Shook and Selfie together and their synergy in fights.
And you have safety in your AD carry as well, so if Sheriff can position well around the edges of the fight...
yeah, leave him alone, you know, and then he will be fine.
It's always going to do a lot of damage on the Tristana. Now, second ban phase. AD carry and support for Vitality left open. Top laner and support for H2K. The Narban comes out from Vitality, trying to pinch that top lane pool. The Caitlyn removed from mini Trupax.
We have to remember SmittyJ is one of those top laners who are very confident in his own ability to play carries. Fiora is always something that you have to keep in mind with Smitty J. Typically, I would say Jax as well, but that's already been grabbed on the other side. Jace is always there as well for him. So far in this split, we have seen the Jace and the Fiora once each from him. Of course, didn't result in any wins because they've been losing so many games. But
there's always the Vladimir as well,
there.
if he does want to pick that up, is banned out by Vitality. So
yeah, that actually would have been a great just... Ooh, Riven counterpick. Could also be a thing. It's Smitty J. He can do it. Like, this man, he trusts himself so much. I know it might seem like just a weird random hover, but you can do this.
Or you could do this.
I guess you can do it, but could be on support.
It could be on support. Could still be flexing.
Because if it is on support, we still might get the last pick from him. And it would make sense if Smitty J says, you know what, I could actually play something like Riven, but I want to see the full comp first.
Yeah, you want to see what the AD carry and support are, really.
Yeah, because it could be like
if it's a Janna or a Braum.
Oh, yeah. Like,
really gonna
strong disengaged support, and then Riven is kind of like, ugh, sucks. It is Ezreal Braum, which that means if you want to play Riven against that in team fights, you need flash up every single one, and that you can't always expect that to be the case because there's so much disengage and kite then suddenly from Vitality's dual lane. So I actually think it's very smart to take the Ornn that could be flexed down to support, worst case, and then you can still try and counterpick top if you want to. Or just take Ornn top.
I don't think they're going to do that because they now have the Zilean, so it is going to be the Ornn top. Zilean support, something we've seen Sing play a lot, but not so much from Promiscu.
I like it though if you trust a lot in your late game AD carry. Because what you do in the mid game is you speed up the AD carry, he rushes forward in the mid lane, shoots the enemy AD carry in the face, and then he rushes back, and you can't really trade against it. So it allows you to control the mid lane really effectively. I think that's important because Vitality, very good like side lane play. Jizuke on Ryze, it is his best champion, guys. Really look forward to watching Jizuke in this game on Ryze. He's so good at split pushing with it. He's so aggressive in the way he's playing. On the other side, you have the GP scaling. So I actually think Zilean Tristana, especially against Ezreal, will give mid lane control to H2K, which will make it harder for Vitality to play the split push game. I think that's a good read with Zilean coming in from a veteran.
Veteran always known for his drafting. Not always known for the best of drafts, but this one seems to have worked out relatively well.
I guess you gotta be known for something.
You gotta be known for
Terrible
something.
drafting or great drafting.
Yamato Cannon's known for his bright, colourful clothes as well.
I guess that's something as well.
So, Vitality 1-3-1, split push, try and just get Jizuke and Cabochard to a position where they can't be dealt with. H2K, team fights, Ornn, Jarvan, Gamio, Tristana. That is womboist of combos.
They got 3 frontline champions, a Zilean ult against 4 squishy champions on the side. I went 3 squishy champions with GP, Ryze, Ezreal, and then Braum and Jax can't build tanky, but still, they're never going to be those full tank champions.
Now we're getting to the point, halfway through the split, we have to see if Vitality can recover from an almost perfect defeat yesterday, and if H2K can continue their winning ways, because they are threatening for playoffs, but you have to win these games.
It's true, but Vitality showed yesterday that they are the best at many things. They're also the best team at getting stumped, and that is something that requires a lot of discipline as a team.
I'm sure Gilius was busting around like, guys, we can't take a dragon. Oh no, if I take a dragon, it's not a perfect game, so that's worth it, right?
I also read the Reddit thread. I see you did the same.
As a play-by-play, that's where I get most of my jokes.
It makes sense. He also had FPS issues, also.
Yeah.
Taken from Reddit, thank you. Now we killed it.
I think we've killed it.
It's dead.
Yeah. So, early game, what are these teams looking to do? Because you've got a pushing lane, feels in Sheriff and Promiscu down towards that bottom side. Ezreal Braum not the best at answering a push, so maybe Shook can look down towards this bottom side for a gank on the Jarvan.
Yeah, it can also go towards mid lane early, even though both mid laners have said, you know what? You have a taunt, I have a snare. We can both run cleanse so we don't get instantly killed. You can go mid twice, at least, if you want to try and camp on that side. I think if you are Shook, though, you don't have to force anything that early on. Same thing for Gilius. Like, it could just be farm up, focus vision. But once Selfie hits level 6, with the Zilean Tristana bot lane that can push, H2K can play around bottom side really effectively. It is cool, though, the Smidge is on a tank. Because he normally wants to play more of the carries. Now he's accepting, you know what? Mid and bot lane is where we're going to focus. We don't need to play around top.
And Cabochard once again is on a carry and has really only played carries this split. I think the tankiest champion he's played is the Gnar. One of the games they lost. Apart from that, lots of Gangplank, lots of Jace, some Camille. His should be able to scale up okay into the Ornn. The 1v1 matchup doesn't feel like it's too disadvantageous to the Gangplank.
Just going to be a farm fest up there with GP outscaling. we instantly cut to Vitality. I think this means there is a pause. We just didn't want to show the pause.
Yep.
So then it doesn't count. The game is actually going on. We're just not going to show it.
H2K have paused the game, so we'll find out exactly what that is, what the issue is there. Hopefully nothing too detrimental, of course. Good thing it happens in the early game as well. Nothing at stake at the moment, just junglers doing their camps.
Shook pausing the same position that Gillies was in yesterday. And he paused. We have to see if it is related to the same thing. But as we saw here, H2K have kind of changed up how they want to play. It's a lot of focus around Shook and Selfie. Great synergy from yesterday. Engage from Shook, follow up from Selfie. And then meanwhile, we have this focus now on Sheriff also being more in a position to carry. I think the Zyra worked well. Now he has a Zillion speeding him up. Like, when we see this from Splice, it's Copy just taking over late game. Every single time.
The issue for me with that is Sheriff yesterday didn't have the best of positionings in teamfights. Got caught out.
That's why he has a Zillion ult, baby.
That's true, but you shouldn't be reliant on a specific pick to keep your AD carry in a good position in a fight. He should be able to position by himself.
All right, then you speed him up.
That's true. Quicker dodging in, quicker jumping out.
There you go. They're trying to help in this case. Shook looks very serious.
Yes.
Very determined, very emotionally
monitor
invested.
settings aren't right.
His monitor settings?
Yes, so it might be, maybe it's a hertz issue, maybe it's a brightness thing. It is a hertz issue.
He forgot to turn it on.
Yeah.
We've all tried that.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, I'm so used to being on NIP, I'm used to my screen being, you know, grayed out or black, so it's just like, oh, this is normal. And then realized he's on H2K now. He is the savior that H2K require. So we get into the second half of the split. And on the other side, Vitality coming off a pretty devastating loss to G2 yesterday. It's not what you really want to...
Yeah.
Like, when you're coming up as the upstarts, the team that everyone is fighting to get near, losing in that fashion against G2 is a big blow to your confidence.
Yeah, because we can highlight some of the things that they didn't get in that game.
Yes.
No kills. Yeah.
Towers.
No tower.
Rift Tower.
No Baron.
No Baron.
2 Drakes. They got 2 Drakes.
Oh, well done.
That's something. We even had a Chrono Break in it. And
even with the help of the League Op Gods rewinding time for them, they still weren't able to get any of those
still
things.
were not able to get a single thing. And after, on Twitter, instead of being, of course, hyped up and ready, because that would be weird if they were after losing, got a lot more humble going into today. It was like, oh, we're playing H2K, I hope we can win, kind of style. I want to see if they bounce back, because as we highlighted earlier in the show, when they lost the last time, which was to Misfits... Good morning, sir.
Excuse me, good sir. We have a game of League of Legends to play.
And the pause hasn't been that long. It's been like 2 minutes.
It's true. You take sleep when you can, you know? You're up all night, you're grinding solo queue, trying to prove that you're one of the best AD carries in Europe. And that's something that's a moniker that Sheriff did actually come into. A lot of people were saying he was one of the best AD carries outside of the EU LCS. And he's not really lived up to that, Deficio.
I mean, I think it's been rough for both him and all of the H2K players to look like fantastic on their own.
It's
because
true.
As a team,
yeah, they haven't looked great.
They've struggled. I think Sheriff is still a very interesting new rookie to have in the EU LCS. Very young guy, 17 years old, coming straight from solo queue, of course, into the EU LCS. I think the fact that they take a gamble on him is good.
Yeah.
And it might pay off big time for them later. I can see Shook just reconnected to the game.
Yeah, it's just going to go through all his ready checks, make sure everything's sorted. Hopefully we'll be back into the game in just a few seconds time.
Otherwise, he can play without a screen.
Yeah. He's good enough.
Just listen to your teammates.
Maybe if it was Gilius, because, you know, he's a god, so he's omniscient, knows exactly what's happening in the game at all times. Then he could play without a screen. But Shook, not quite at that level, not at the Alliance Shook level.
We had to say it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We also have to say he's a 10-0 or 0-10 jumper.
Yeah. He got kaboomed.
It is
another one.
Man, Worlds 2014 was the darkest timeline ever as a European fan.
Yes, it was.
When all our teams dropped out of groups.
It's like being an NA fan, isn't it?
There you go.
And we're back onto the Summoner's Rift for some more League of Legends.
And now people are going to tweet at you, what about Cloud9 the last few years, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't count.
No. Trading in the top lane. I always wonder what sort of shield Ornn gets when he uses that ability. Because you have shields, you have like armor. Does he make himself a shield? What's it made of if he does? Is it of diamonds? Diamonds are the toughest material in the world, of course, but not the hardest. Can break a diamond with a hammer, Deficio.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's your facts for the day.
Can get hit by 2 bombs in a row, and he's now lost all his HP. Wish he had a diamond shield.
I don't know. Do bombs blow up diamonds?
I don't know. It's not exactly the thing I've been testing lately.
Interesting. I thought with you being freelance, you'd have a bit more time on your hands
Yeah,
to look at that sort of stuff.
That's what I'm practicing. How was that a burn?
I don't know.
That was
It
not a burn at
sounded
all.
like a burn.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
It's like, you chose to be freelance. Thought you'd have more time on your hand. Jizuke is trading into Selfie in the mid lane. We do have to watch this matchup because it's junglers and mid laners that we're really keeping our eyes on. And Jizuke is going to push Selfie back in the lane. Kind of to be expected in the matchup, though, for the time being. Get some good vision control down towards those.
Gillis' first gank of the game.
Smitty J, Searing charges away.
All right, Gillis did manage to steal a camp on top side, so kind of just had to leave anyway and either go down and do another camp, the Grump, or just recall and go down to the bottom side. But yeah, as we talked about with Jizuke, like, Ryze, to me, that's his best champion. Especially once he gets out of the laning phase and he goes to side lanes. He's made some sick plays, like the 1v2s against Fnatic. He was the one who called the backdoor play as well when he was pushing on the Ryze. And a minion just disappeared in front of him, and he didn't pause. Interesting.
I'm going to let that one just sit there. I don't think we need to push that one any further.
I actually think yesterday it was dematerializer used.
Yeah. So just to explain to anyone else, yesterday Jizuke had a pause in the early portion of a game because he didn't think that his minion wave had a cannon minion in it, and he thought it should. What had happened was his enemy mid laner had dematerialized the cannon minion, and Jizuke just hadn't noticed. So he's like, where's my cannon minion? Shows how much they track, though, because I don't track which wave is a cannon minion, which is not.
He's tracking Gilius. Shook, looking for him. Gilius. Oh, Shook gets...
Get counter-jungled!
And now he walks away. And Gilius doesn't really care. He can do another camp, and Gilius will be fine. And this one, Shook can do the Raptor on his side, but proactive start again.
Gilius might be a little shook up by that play. Selfie going to try and get some vision down here as well.
You've really been reading a lot of Reddit, because there were a million Shook.
I don't think that's me reading Reddit. I think that's just a very easy pun to make.
Yeah, but it was used by
his name.
Everyone yesterday.
Yeah, it's because it's easy.
You gotta find something different with Shook.
Okay, I'll think of it. Selfie almost towards that level 6 mark, so we do need to think about whether he's going to go down towards the bottom lane. Haven't had too much action in the early game, but you can sense there's a bit of tension between the two teams. Vitality do not want to fall too far behind, because H2K, if they can get to a position where they team fight, they're in a very strong portion of the game there.
Well, we also just got spoiled last game, Medic, by the level 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 fights. So in this game, I think this is more the natural curve of an early game.
But not the natural curve of a lot of H2K's games. Yesterday was a departure from the books for them. Both Selfie and Shook having an incredible game against Roccat. Selfie, 100% kill participation, high damage per minute, KD of 5-0-12, didn't die, had some great shockwaves as well.
And almost all of it was set up by Shook on the Zac. Wow, look at that timing, guys. I did not know it was going to swap into a Shook graphic, but it did. And those two guys together, same thing in this game. We've already highlighted quite a few times. We need to see the same kind of setup. Smitty J's ulti can also be great follow-up. I'd actually be kind of scared if I'm Vitality's carries with the amount of engage H2K brings, plus a zillion speeding up an AD carry who can then kind of walk in and out of fights. So I like the H2K draft. Another double bomb from Promiscue. Funny enough, whenever we look bot lane, that's when he goes forward to hit the double bomb. And Min Trubax is forced back.
Should have the tier on this back though at 45 CS.
And losing lane against Tristan, I mean, she kills your turret. Nice.
Shook's going to jump onto Jizuke here. The taunt comes off. Jizuke trying to get away. Still has the flash. Used the cleanse already. But Gilius is on his way to try and counter-gank this. Shook won't get stunned up with the counter-strike. And it's 1-0 to the H2K jungler.
I like the juke though from juke on the knock-up, of course, from the Jarvan. And then Jizuke not using flash. Knowing, okay, movement speed is there, shield is there, walk out. Save it for next time. But cleanse is on cooldown now. Shook can return gang. We mentioned this in the start of the game, how going mid with Jarvan is definitely an effective way to try and snowball Selfie.
Fun fact, if H2K Promiscue had not changed his name from Sprattle, H2K would now have 5 players whose names start with S. And I'm glad I've worked on my Lisp, because otherwise it'd be a very difficult team to talk about. Smitty J, Shook, Selfie, Sheriff, and Sprattle.
I miss it, man. Bring it back.
Oh yeah,
that was the one thing that made you unique. Oh. And now, what do you got? Clearly nothing.
Just a discount quick shot. Just a discount quick shot.
slightly taller than
Captain
him.
Flowers of EU. I don't even get called by my own name.
But that's a compliment to be the Captain Flowers.
Oh, that's
of
true,
Europe.
actually.
So-
Maybe people should stop saying that to me.
Do they really say that, Matt?
I've had... my dad said it to me once.
You are a special little flower, that's for sure.
That I am now. Vitality and HB need to stop with
Yeah.
it. Just collective groans from the crowd, however far we go with it. Double tiers picked up on Vitality. H2K and Mini Trupax remembering yesterday's games. Picked up a tier for themselves. Shook level 6, Selfie level 8. And we haven't seen that bot lane gank that you promised me yet,
Well,
Vishio.
they can just take the tower alone then. They don't need the gank. H2K can't really go down and kill them because then Selfie joins. He's on his way. He's gonna try. Gillis is here as well. Caboch's ulti is ready. They place a ward. They're not spotted.
Got the realm warp.
Selfie needs to be ready to react here, otherwise. Vitality, ooh, they're spotted now.
There's the realm warp. Sheriff does have the jump. Cannon Barrage used as well. Promise Q speeds up his AD carry. Looking for the double bomb. Pops the chrono break as well. Himself alive for the time being, but he's going to resurrect.
Selfie's underway.
Coming in from Selfie. Flash away. Here's the re-engage. Hero's entrance. Promise Q goes golden, and Gilius is going to get caught out. Veteran clapping as H2K clap down on Vitality's bot lane gank. They're looking for a little bit more, but they won't get much.
This is what we talked about here. If Vitality trying to go bot lane, Selfie will join as fast as he can. He just TP'd in because he wanted to kill the wave mid first. Gilius, because they have to go through Zillion ulti and then a stopwatch, couldn't get an early kill. And HK bought a lot of time. That was very predictable from Vitality. They were even spotted by the control ward. So HK knew exactly what to do. Now they get this bot lane turret 9 minutes into the game. That's going to be a pretty big goal lead. And Vitality, come on, like, we saw that.
Yeah.
Armchair analysts saw this play. Of course HK are ready for it.
And they get first tower, they get the Ocean Drake, they have a 2,000 gold lead. This is very strong from H2K. 10 minutes into the game, they are 2,000 gold ahead. When usually at this point, they're about 1,500 behind.
Like, the moment you know there's a ward, just go back. Because this man will ult. Then there's flashes stopwatch, and there's TP coming or ulti from Selfie. In this case, it's gonna end up being both. And now if you're Vitality, you couldn't kill the first target, and you're just gonna overextend. I think the moment you walk in and see, okay, there was a control ward, we're now spotted, just go back. Just accept that you can't make this play, because otherwise you're overforcing it.
And I wonder if a little bit of that is Vitality feeling the need to live up to their reputation now, feeling the need to live up to this being this aggressive team that can make plays, that can get advantages against these lower level teams, because they are 7-2. They did just get beaten by G2, and now maybe they're trying to prove that they can continue to challenge at the top.
It's always hard to say. Can't really get in the hits just yet. That will be happening in the future, hopefully.
It's a nice thought experiment
It is.
to think about.
I think they thought they could like get one kill on a Zillion and back away, even if Galio joined, and then they just miscalculated the fact that there was ult plus stopwatch, and I think that actually ended up kind of catching them off guard a little bit, and therefore they give up a kill. HK instantly swap topside after killing turret, start the Rift Herald. Some damage on the bottom side. Smidj is on the way, can try and use ult to clear out the wave, but Gillis is on bottom side, so he might just have to give it up. Good trade from Selfie in mid. Great start for this Galio. First kill, ton of CS, Rod of Age is already completed. Smidj just needs to back off.
Glacier Fish is going to come out, but he will flash away from it. Jackjaw trying to predict, wasn't able to do it, and Vitality will be able to take a bottom tower from this, but they lose the Rift Herald, they lose pressure on the top. In fact, Sheriff might even be able to get that by himself. Good cannon barrage to stop him in his tracks for the time being.
It will delay it, but Shook is going mid now. Sheriff should just stay top and get the turret. They have 3-man plus Rift Herald to get this mid lane turret. They might get 2 turrets on the side of H2K.
No TP on Cabochard either, so he can't respond with any pressure down towards the middle lane. That tower is going to fall to Rift Herald and her friends. And they'll get top as well. H2K, 12 minutes in, are going to have 3 towers down.
And they took that Drake from earlier because they won the little fight down there, killed that first turret. Really, really good start from H2K. All 3 outer turrets gone. Not even 12 minutes into the game. The only other team I saw do it this fast was Fnatic. Much earlier in the split.
Against H2K.
Against H2K, yeah.
And they lost that game. H2K
Yes.
won. So
Maybe
is this a good sign for Vitality?
And maybe H2K returns it now, saying, oh, thank you, Fnatic, you gave us that win. Now it's our turn to do exactly the same thing.
Look at these goal differentials, though. 1,100 in the mid lane, 1,100 in the AD carries. Big leads for the carries here on H2K. Selfie getting ahead, 20 farm ahead. Sheriff getting ahead as well, just in terms of pure gold. It's going to be scaling up on this Tristana, and H2K now can set up vision, can get some deep wards down, can look to make these picks, make these team fights happen.
It was so early in the game that when you kill the outer turrets this fast, the game tends to slow down a little bit because it's a little bit too early to just kind of rush straight towards tier 2 turrets all across the map. You just don't get enough vision down to do it properly. You don't feel like every lane is strong enough. Gilius has actually snuck his way down behind Smitty J. He's not
Shook's on
flash.
his way as well, though. Teleport's going to come in, and now Gilius realizes he's not in the best of spots. Steering charge for the knockup. Gilius going to try and put the counter-strike down. There's the call of the Forge God as well. Gilius knocked up by Smitty J, and H2K secure their second kill.
Someone tell Gilius what teleport does. Because it allows players to go from one lane to another lane pretty quickly.
Yep.
And this is the second time where the poor Gilius has jumped in, looked for a fight, and then Selfie just TP'd in behind him.
And we talked about the jungler difference. At the moment, Shook is winning that battle all ways up. 0-0-2 ahead in farm. Gilius has 100% of the death share for his team. He's the only guy to die on Vitality thus far.
And it's the same kind of play in the bottom lane where, again, Selfie can just react by TPing in. He was sitting in the brush mid when Vitality had 3 members. So if you look at the replay, right now Selfie's mid lane, TP is available. So the call is, okay, no flash on Smitty J, go kill him. But he's still a tank and it's going to take time to take him down. And at this point now, Selfie sees it, TP's in, and Gilius can't really get out in time.
But just blasted control ward once again, spotting Gilius out. Just nowhere to go.
Too greedy and too easy for H2K to punish him. This Jax is going to be pretty far down. Might still try and go for Trinity Force. I think if you're down to 0-2 as a Jax, just go full tank. At this point, it's too late for you to become a damage threat. They don't need him to control a side lane either in the late game because they have GP and they have Ryze, who can go, of course, TP with the spellbook. So I think full tank Jax would be superior here, but he's going towards a Phage at least.
So H2K have secured the early gold lead here. 15 minutes in, they're about 3,000 gold ahead. They're going to clear out deep vision. They have a teamfight composition that has scaled up relatively well.
Yeah, they have
items.
Zillion Tristana.
Yeah.
Insane scaling on both champions. Like, Zillion late game is obnoxious because of the amount of movement speed he gives, how much he allows your AD carry to control mid lane, and the ulti, of course, if you ever catch Sheriff or Selfie, boom, Zillion ult is there. So this is not even a draft from H2K that had to snowball early game to do well. They actually had pretty good scaling on their side. I think, of course, with GP and the other one, yeah, the Ornn will get outscaled, but he's just going to be full tank. And you're going to have damage coming in from Sheriff and Selfie with the Zillion backing them up. So H2K's start is fantastic because they picked really good pushing bottom lane, and then they've been punishing these 2 plays from Gilius. They're in prime position to fully control the mid game now.
And what a change we've seen in H2K since Shook came in, since Selfie's come in as well. These 2 guys brought in to revitalize the roster, to totally change their fortunes and take them away from being what a lot of people are calling perhaps the worst LCS team we've ever seen. They've now totally changed the way that this team plays.
I never agreed with that statement.
Okay, I say a lot of people, I mean Vedius.
So Vedius said it.
Yes.
I didn't agree with Vedius there because Origin was a thing. And I don't think anything will ever beat what Origin did in the last split in terms of being bad.
Statistically, though, H2K were worse than them. So I'm going to back up Vedius on this point. They're not anymore. They're playing better. I'm on Vedius' side once, Deficio. Please don't
Origin
go away from me. H2K pushing in the mid lane, pushing in bot as well. They have this split push possibility, the safety that Promise Q can give to Sheriff. And there's a Cloud Drake if they want it. Will be their second Drake of the game.
You have to highlight Promise Q running Comet in this game with more poke damage. Means no Airy, so no Ardent Sensor coming in from it. Because with Airy, when you sped up the AD carry, Airy went over, gave a little shield, proc the Ardent Sensor. Good stuff. Not in this one though for Promise Q. One of the better laning phase for himself, it seems like. I think otherwise, Airy Ardent Sensor is still good to just really allow your AD carry to be insane. But I think going for the win lane super hard strat paid off.
Definitely worked for them. You can see Vitality are trying to answer the pressure in the lanes. They put Jizuke up towards the top side. Doesn't have the teleport, has cleanse at the moment. Cabochard is answering a wave push down to the bot lane as well. And Promise Q is just supporting his team, giving them some extra levels here and there.
Well, this is what we talked about, how when you get the outer turrets down so quickly, the game does tend to again slow down a little bit because you can see how hard it is for them to just rush a turret. GP is fairly strong in this game despite just farming, just based on all the extra gold he's getting. So that means they can't really just go bot and 1v1 kill him. Gilius might get caught out. Nope, flashed away. Good play from H2K. Just control the jungle, take all the camps, get a bit of damage on the turret. You're waiting for another Drake to spawn, you're waiting for Baron to spawn anyway, and you got plenty of time. Not in a hurry at all.
It's important to note that Cabochard has upgraded his Relic Shield into Targon's, now into Celestial Eye, so he does have the Sightstone on that if he wants to try and give himself some safety in terms of vision. He's generated about 500 gold from that item, so if he sells it now, it's about a 10 gold loss. It's very gold efficient if you are able just to scale up. And it means that he is about 500 gold ahead or so of Smitty J.
And I think he can place all the wards he wants in the side lane. I don't think H2K cares.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to go kill him anyway.
But his vision score,
it's
he's one ahead of Smitty J at the moment. It's one extra minute of vision he has supplied for his team. I mean, there's a lot of confounding factors. It's a very complicated metric, but that's what it boils down to.
And that's the important part of the game. If you're
As a support main, that is very important.
And as a GP top player, it's all about the vision game right now. But I still think it's good to get it. Like, extra wards always help your team. Sadly for him, his team has been losing on the bottom side. Let's see what happens with the first team fight, because Sheriff got his IE completed, got the static shift so he can instant kill the wave, and we're kind of waiting to see if H2K want to force a fight around either early Baron or the next Drake spawning. For now, we just get more farming.
But I think they have to force it around the Baron if they want Vitality to react, because an Ocean Drake isn't always the most contested.
I mean, but then you just take the free Drakes, and when the Elder Drake spawns, you just get a huge buffed up Elder Drake.
True.
And then
That's true.
That's fine too, if you are H2K. So I'll tell you, happy just sitting back, but this kind of meant that because they fell behind, Jizuke on Rise never really got unleashed. Whenever he goes side lane, he's against double TP on the other side. And Promiscu and Sheriff can move so fast between lanes because of Cillian that, well, it's hard to really be a split pusher on the side of Vitality. We might even get a fight mid.
Shook looking to engage onto mini True-Backs. There's a double Cataclysm. Hero's Entrance comes in as well, but Vitality have escaped. Knock up on Jack Troll. Smitty J. Pop that Call of the Forge God already. Selfie in that front line, looking for the taunt. Only lands onto Jack Troll once again. Selfie not in the best of spots. Gillies jumps in the flash away. And Vitality on the chase. Puts down a barrel. Cabochard looking for the kill. Can't get it onto Selfie because of the golden nature of the Galio. But he is going to fall, and Vitality get their first kill of the game. The Realm Warp looking for the chase onto Smitty J. They're going to catch him out. 4 members surrounded, but Sheriff can still do a lot of work. And H2K will force Vitality back.
H2K ended up overforcing that fight in the mid lane. Even though they were against an Ezreal, they still jumped in and tried to ult towards him, and then suddenly realized not everyone could actually join. I don't think Sheriff got in range to really deal any damage. And Vitality, they managed to turn that one around, buying himself a bit more time. In the end, it was only 1 kill, and there's nothing else for Vitality to pick up, because all the lanes are pushed against him. No objective alive they could actually start. And HK just learned, alright, don't have to chase every.
It's the fight we said that they were going to look to force them. And
yeah,
they do try and force it.
Ezreal can jump out of this one, and Jack Troll, of course, can just kind of jump onto the Ezreal, and then now this combo of Jarvan plus Galio end up not working for them. Meanwhile, they're completely split up. We got 2 members on top side, and then down here, near the Raptor camp, the rest of H2K himself will end up having to give his life.
See, Cabochard does do a lot of work in this fight. He does a lot of damage on this gangplank. He has scaled up. He's completed a bunch of items. Smitty J able to get away because now Sheriff is actually able to put the damage down.
Minor setback for H2K.
But it shows Vitality signs of hope in the game as well, and maybe that's what they needed.
Tiny signs, tiny.
It's a sign of hope, though, and they didn't have any against G2. They haven't really had many in this game thus far.
Man, it's such a rough week for Vitality, man. And it's overforced plays on the bottom side twice that set them behind in this game. Losing that first turret. We will get a bunch of team fights where Vitality can try and get back in the game. I really have to look at mini True-Backs and Jizuke there and see what they can do. But of course, the GP, like in the last fight, can be important. I just think if H2K are able to engage properly with Jarvan and Galio, they should win the fights now. Sheriff is 2.5 items in, already 22 minutes. Plus there's a Zillion behind him. Like, this AD carry should control the game.
In a very strong spot right now. H2K going to try and get some vision around this Baron pit as well. They are looking to secure it or to pull Vitality towards them. You've got 2 items as well on Selfie, Morello, Nomicon, and the Rod completed.
Try the same engage again.
Didn't work out too well last time, and they won't be able to get it this time, but just can get some vision.
Take all the enemy jungle camps. You know Ezreal can never push back mid, so just keep him down to his tier 2 turret. Get the Drake that's spawning in 5 seconds. then start setting up for Baron, force a Baron play where you turn and fight, that's going to be the play for H2K. Unless they want to start the Baron earlier, they're baiting it for now.
They want to get Cabochard's TP at least here because he's down towards the bottom side. If they can get themselves a TP...
This is good though, I like the setup.
They start up the Baron. Good vision control. Gilius there looking for the steal. It was stolen from him last week by Memento. Now H2K will back away from the Baron. It resets. Maybe going for an engage here. The speed up on Shook. There's the knockback onto Jacktroll. Here's the hero's entrance as well. Jacktroll tries to veer up away, but he gets knocked airborne. The Cataclysm comes down. And H2K get a kill for themselves.
They might lose the bot lane turret though, and Cabochard did not use TP yet. Can H2K go back to Baron and actually force that TP? Shook is fairly low. There is a Zilean ulti available, but I think they could have gone for Drake first here.
Yeah.
Given it a few more minutes and then made this exact play. But it's good. 5 men together, be ready to turn and fight instead of risking like a 50-50 Baron. So I think the idea is correct. Done a little bit too early in the game, even though it wasn't a bad call by any means. And they get a kill for it, but they lose that bot lane turret. Cabochard is left alone to just keep farming. 10k gold already picked up on this GP, so once again, it kind of buys a bit more time for Vitality, and they're only down 500 gold.
They've done a very good job of mitigating their losses. It's something they've been good at throughout the entirety of this split, not losing too much. Even when they fall behind, they're able to find a way back into the game.
For next fight, Sheriff will have Rapid Fire Cannon, or should be close to it. Okay, it is there now. So that's ready. They will still get the Drake. Once again, for H2K, minus setbacks.
Yes.
You lose that one fight in mid. Okay, you lost the bot lane tower for 1 kill only. But they're still in a good position to win as long as they can execute on the next Baron play.
Remember though, it was 10 or 12 minutes into the game when they took that first set of towers. All 3 went down. We're now 25 minutes into the game, and they haven't broken a tier 2. Yes, minor setbacks. Yes, they have Double Ocean and a Cloud Drake. But only 300 gold is the difference now. And Infernal spawning next. All it takes is one good fight from Vitality or one
100%.
misstep from H2K.
Yeah. 100%. But if they play the team fight correctly with this Fed of an 80 carry, they win the fight. So it is still in H2K's favor. Let's see the exact same setup they did before. Control wards, hide in the Baron pit, and turn when Shook can engage. Flashes, everything is available on Vitality's side, so it will be hard to keep them in a Jarvan ult.
Seeing the 1-3-1 from Vitality, you can see H2K go forward. Chef jumps in. There's the call of the Porch God as well, because Jacktroll has put the shield in the wrong direction. He's knocked up. Shook dives in with the Cataclysm as well. Vitality lose another man.
Zilean and Tristana. Buff the Zilean with the speed up. Sorry, buff the Tristana with the speed up, runs forward, shoots at the first thing in front of him, and you always win the trades because Sheriff knows there's Zilean ult, there's Galio ult. Like, this confidence is exactly what we want to see. Now they can go for Baron.
Double
Vitality
TP.
will fight. There's no GP ult, which could have been huge in the Baron pit.
Here we go. 6,000 health on the Baron. God, Gilius looking for the steal, trying to jump in. There's the counter-strike, maybe a little bit too early. He's being caught out, he's down, and the Baron continues to be taken by H2K. They'll secure it with the smite, and here comes Sheriff. He wants to take this kill onto Jizuke, but Jizuke puts him in his place, takes him down. Now is on Jizuke and Cabochard, the 2 carries to take all of H2K. Realm Warp in, are they going to chase? They're looking for it, but I don't think they can catch anyone else.
Oh, he's moving behind Selfie right now. Full HP on this GP, but Selfie's fine. He gets to dash away. H2K gets the Baron after that kill picked up in the mid lane against Jacktroll. While it was a close fight after, I think H2K are happy just getting Baron and getting out with still multiple members alive.
They're starting to get towards these 3-4 item spikes as well. H2K still have it on the Galio, still have the Baron on Promise Q as well, and on Shook.
And this is what they need to now get down the next layer of turrets. Keep playing the way they're doing now, where you have Sheriff just running forward with the Zilean, speeding him up. This is a 4v5. No ult from Cabochard. Only gets the barrel in, I think, hitting Selfie. And Gillis jumps in too early. I think he was simply lacking vision on his side. And while Selfie couldn't ult right there. And I think Selfie got the Zilean ult.
Oh.
I think the crowd saw that too. Did you see Promise Q?
Selfie got the Zilean out, yeah.
Yes, I think that was supposed to go on Sheriff.
Quite possibly.
I think Sheriff was like, I'm going in, guys, ult me. And then Promise Q ulted on Selfie.
And Selfie did survive, so...
True, I guess Promise Q did his job.
And was able to take out Mini Trupax, who has struggled a little bit on the Ezreal this game. Gilius looking for a flank as 4 members of H2K push down mid. They're leaving Smithy J off towards the side lane. He does have the teleport. Flashes up as well for Sheriff and Selfie if a fight does erupt. No flashes apart from Gilius and Cabochard. There's the first tower. Cabochard is the one caught out by Shook. The double bomb is going to stun him up. There's the Winds of War as well. And Cabochard will meet his maker as Smitty J calls down a god on his face. Now the inhibitor tower is the target for H2K. You can see Yamato Cannon not too pleased by this performance because the inhibitor is going to fall and H2K are looking strong.
And he just keeps going downhill for Vitality right now. Keeps going uphill for H2K. They might get a 2-0 week after getting Shook to join this lineup here, and Vitality gets destroyed by D2. And let's be real, they're getting crushed by H2K now as well. Bad early start, been behind all game long, and while there have been some fairly close fights around a Baron, H2K have been in full control. We're watching a Vitality team fall apart. And Sheriff and the rest of H2K now get a second inhib.
You have to give credit to H2K as well. Shook and Selfie coming in. This is the biggest mid-split change I have ever seen from a team. Going from such underperformers to a team that is taking down the top dogs. H2K look totally changed.
See if we get a replay of that last fight. While Gilius tries to get something for himself after a very rough game. He went for the Phage and then decided, okay, actually I need tanky items on his side. There's a giant spell, but
he hasn't even completed his
squishy.
first item after building the jungle.
He went one way and said, wait, I don't need to go this way, I need to go another route. And then he kind of tried to change. And of course, that's why he sits with nothing at this point. Still going towards the Trinity Force. We'll get it extremely slowly in the game. I think you get it like 40 minutes, basically, at this point. Let's see the fight from before. It's rush forward, super strong team fight, and the moment Cabochard gets caught out, he will go down.
And then they just get inhibitor. Teleport up towards the top lane, get the tier 2s as well. As you can see in your picture-in-picture, they're looking for that tier 2 down in the bottom lane. H2K now a 3,000 gold lead, going to extend it even more, up to 4.
Jizuka is top right now. Everyone trying to get something for his team. They might just lose the third inhib instantly without even putting up a fight.
Doesn't have teleport either, so can't join the fight. Sheriff's going to open up on the tower. Won't be able to get too much off it, but there's another minion wave coming in. No Baron buff yet left for H2K. Here comes Jizuke. So often being the carry for this team, now he has to come up with something totally magical. If they're going to stop this, he flashes in, but the Resurrect comes down. Chrono Shift brings it back. Here's the Hero's Entrance as well. As Vitality are in their last gasp. Sheriff's down. Vitality get 2, and it's all off Jizuke. What a god! Vitality jumping in. Mini Trubax gets another selfie. Mike Ball hits a Mini Trubax as well. It's a shutdown. It's going to be an ace. Vitality, Jizuke, they stop H2K.
It looked like they were just giving up the turret because Jizuke was sitting top lane. But then he recalls, goes back down 3 or 4 fully completed items, and flash forward, forces their instant Zillion ulti onto Sheriff. You see it again. It's all Jizuke right now. You said it. He's the man who needs to do something here. He sees the AD carry, goes in, ton of damage. Look at the Q flying in, smack, 700 damage. Ulti's now used, everything defensive being popped. Gilius comes in after with stun, and the GPO takes down Sheriff. Plus, the turret is still alive, helping Vitality, and Minute Trubax can kind of chase down the last few kills. That was huge. They did also get Infernal Drake right after.
Well, we said, can they turn around after disappointment? Can they fight from behind? Vitality show us they can do just that. The rookie Jizuke making the magical play for his team.
That was just a perfect fight. Flash in, force early Zillion ulti, and then good follow-up with the stun coming in. I think there was a Braum ulti, there was a counter-strike from the Jax into them. Actually killing Sheriff with the last hit of that GPO. Now HK, okay, they're ready for it, but they also know the flash is on cooldown on Jizuke's side. Yes, okay, reduced by the spellbook, nerfed on this patch by 10%, so HK can go back bot lane. This turret is low, get the third inhib down, and then let the minions do the work. You don't have to win another big team fight then if you're going to supply pressure with super minions. Exactly the same setup, but no flash on the rise.
Tower low. True Shot Barrage clears out the wave. Sheriff stepping forward. Jizuke still there. Tower's not going to go down yet. Jack Troll putting up the wall, putting up the shield in front of this tower.
And we need Sheriff to just put the bomb onto the turret, give it a few hits, and it dies.
Mini Trubax will not have liked that. Still waiting for the next wave. Minions pushing in mid and top as well. Here they go. Cataclysm entrance into the backline. The Realm War comes out as well. Can they save anyone? They will not save Jack Troll nor Jizuke. H2K have had enough of this. This is not a tower defense game. This is a game about killing your enemies, and that's exactly what H2K are going to do.
And H2K right now will get a 2-0 week after putting Shook in the lineup. Him and Selfie, big carries for H2K.
What a performance from H2K. The turnaround mid-split. H2K are reborn.
Minor setbacks in this game for H2K, but still felt like they were always in control after a good start to the game, great draft, where they can win the bot lane, they can protect Sheriff. And Jizuke, while he actually had a fine game on the Rise, was never unleashed. Could never go and be a split pushing threat, because every time he tried anything on the other side, H2K would just push down. But Vitality, last time when they lost the game, they bounced back and won 4 games in a row. We were like, they're fine, not a problem. Dismantled by G2, destroyed by H2K. Sure, one fight, that's what we saw from Vitality in this game. Horrible early game.
And you have to wonder how much that's going to affect their mental fortitude as well. But a lot of rookies on this team, not a huge amount of experience. You've got Gilius, you've got Kabusha. The rest of them, very new to this sort of experience, very new to losing on the LCS stage.
And now, Fnatic, if they win later today, they can tie Vitality for that first place. A lot of people looked at this week as the week where Vitality, if they picked up 2 wins, could be really far ahead of the rest of the pack. Really locking in #1. Looking like a clear-cut, playoff team. They're ready. Now we're watching some of the other big teams in Europe, G2, Fnatic. They're getting closer and closer to Vitality, and they just lost to the team that was second last in the league. Of course, a new team with 2 new players, but still, Vitality should not be losing to H2K.
And then you look at H2K on the other side and you say, what a change. What a change for this team. Like, before they just weren't a cohesive unit. They didn't have the synergy. And now with Shook there, it seems like they've really found a formula that works for them.
Yeah, and this early game was not even about H2K specifically being super aggressive. It was more like, we know with the Galio mid with TP, if anything ever happens against our pushing bot lane, we react.
Yep.
And as we said in the cast, like the most predictable gank ever happened that Vitality got punished for. So they lost first turret, lost the Drake, Sheriff went top lane, took another one, they took a mid turret with the Rifter. Like, HK just got everything really quickly. They knew exactly what to do once they got the small advantage, and that's much better than what we saw from them before. Like, it just seems they're more decisive. And we have to look at Shook and Selfie. They're saying they are the ones kind of making that change.
Well, we'll hear from Selfie in just a couple of minutes about exactly what changes have been made. But it is decisions. Like, it's doing stuff, because a few weeks ago, we were saying, well, H2K, what do? They don't really do anything.
Sure.
Now they're actually doing things. For more on that H2K win, let's send it over to Quickshot, who's ready with their mid laner.
Thank you very much. I'm joined by Selfie after a 2-0 weekend. First and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
What does it mean to you to go 2-0 in the week and, more importantly, take down Vitality, the #1 team in EU?
It means we can go playoffs. The dream is still alive, and it's just a dream come true. Like, we Shook joins and we win the game, so like the only thing I can say is the Shook effect. So
the Shook effect. Okay, we'll put that in a graphic for you next week. Did you get nervous when you guys got aced on the bottom inhibitor turret, where Jizuke jumps in and catches Sheriff out? How did you feel losing that team fight?
We knew Rise has no flash and he didn't build any defensive items, so we were just saying like we just go bot and instantly engage on Rise, and he has nothing to do there. Yeah, he insta-dies.
Definitely played out. I mean, that was what ended up winning you guys the game. Okay, so 2-0 on the week. Let's look forward. You just mentioned playoffs. What else do you guys have to fix or work on to actually make playoffs this split?
We need to get more games, like wins, and I mean, most importantly, we need wins. We just have small mistakes here and there. I think I have a bit champion pool issue. That's why people ban me out. So I need to fix that. And I think we're going to be strong next week.
Fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Shook effect impacts H2K. I have one last question before we go to an ad break. Coming up next, Roccat will be taking on Schalke 04. Who will win that game and why?
I think Schalke will win. But it's just, I think they're a bit better, and that's it. I don't know what to say.
Gut instinct. Sometimes you just can't get away. Congratulations on the win, Selfie.
Thank you.
We're going to head to an ad break. When we come back, Roccat take on Schalke, and I will be speaking to Freddie. See you in 3.5. really nice.
Maybe going for an engage here, the speed up on Shook. There's the knockback onto Jackal. Here's the hero's entrance as well. Jackal tries to veer up away, but he gets knocked airborne. The Cataclysm comes down. The counter